Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RITF Gaming, and today I'm going to have a moan about reboots. Now, um, it's not just happening in the gaming industry, and that's not just my major problem in the gaming industry, but it's something I've noticed a lot in a lot of modern games, is that there are a lot of game series and franchises, and whatever you want to call them, that are getting the remake treatment, the reboot treatment, or the remaster treatment. And to me it's a worrying trend. It really is. Like, to see, and obviously you see it in films, like we've seen Ghostbusters recently, which has flopped. I mean, I don't know what like the money figures were or whatever have you, but it wasn't very well received. That's for sure. But we're seeing it a heck of a lot right now in gaming, and it does something that I do find, as I say, like a very worrying trend. So I'm going to talk quickly about why I think that sort of is. So the first sort of big issue I have with it is how it feels like it's it feels like it's really lazy cash in, and it really pisses me off actually when people sort of get really hyped about it. Sorry, the developer, sorry, really hyping like, wow, look at this, you can play all these games in one place. I mean, personally, for myself, I mean, I have a whole load of hardware. Like, I have so many games consoles that I pretty much just go for the original game every time. So I guess for me personally, I guess it is a little easier for me to just pick up and play the older Tomb Raiders because they're all sat in there with the PS1 in the drawers down there, sort of thing. So I find that a lot easier than some people who maybe don't sit down and collect a whole bunch of games consoles and a whole load of games to play for them. So perhaps that is slightly personal beef, but I still think it's really annoying how it's like all of these look in one go. I think that even then, I think that's possibly the only practical one. And here I'm referring to like collections, by the way. I should probably make that quite clear, which I did. Like the DMC collection, the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, the what was it? There was another one as well. That was the Halo Master Chief. Is that right? The Halo Master Chief collection, the Uncharted collection. I think that's like there's sort of loads of them, and it kind of makes sense, of course, because we've moved on to newer hardware like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and the Wii U. Although ironically, I don't see very many on Wii U because the Virtual Console is really, really good. For me, that's what it should be about. It should be like Virtual Console or the equivalent, like PlayStation Network, rather than getting a physical disc release. But my biggest sort of complaint with it is how it feels very much like it feels like there's no originality, or less originality in sort of AAA development, and that's something we've sort of known that that's a thing for a while. It's nothing new that the AAA gaming tries to stick as much to the formula as possible. But it's just so bad for innovation. And personally, again, I mean, I have a whole load of consoles, a whole load of games that I can choose from. So for me to be able to sort of pick up anything I want on, say, like right now, Alien 3 is sat in my Super Nintendo, which I'm looking at right now. But I can go straight from that. The Wii U is right next to it, and then I can pick up and play NBA 2K13. NBA Jam is behind me there somewhere. But stuff like that, and I do feel that having a nice change, even over one console like the Mega Drive, which is notorious, well, not notorious, but it has a lot of like similar games like beat 'em ups, and you know what I mean. Like, so that is my biggest concern. It just limits innovation real bad by having a whole bunch of reboots. And another thing as well is I do, as like with Star Wars, slightly away from video games right now, but like with Star Wars, I do have a massive problem with the making 7, 8, and 9. Like, what was wrong with the first three? You didn't need to do more. You didn't need a prequel trilogy. But you know why? It's the whole money, money, money thing, cash grab. You know, because this franchise makes money. We better keep that up. It's stuff like what is it? It was stuff like the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Like, we don't need another one. We don't need a play. We don't need another film. We don't need anything like that. Just leave it. And I think ultimately, I can moan about how it's so crap when half the releases are like the Uncharted, which is something that's already come out and sort of lazy cash grab from developers. But ultimately, what it comes down to is usually how it's easier for companies to go, like, in my opinion, like Square Enix, who are saying, well, look, we're going to re-release Final Fantasy 7. Okay, so here's a thing, and obviously everyone's shitting themselves with excitement. Now I'm playing through the original. I'm like 15 hours in, I think 13 hours, something like that. And then like you sort of looked at the trailer for Final Fantasy 15, and I was kind of like, this is rubbish looking and not like a Final Fantasy game at all. Which is ironic considering I'm running about innovation, but you know what I mean. Like there's a certain, but it mostly comes down to just being a case of or not authorial, but the creator's sort of desire, and a lot of it is kind of like you release a whole bunch of newer games. I just want to see some more creativity, some more interesting stuff. I mean, personally, the PlayStation 1 being one of my favourite games consoles, I can look at the PS1 and go, oh, right, yeah, there's a whole bunch of amazing games there I can play. There's a whole load of great hidden gems. Nowadays, it tends to be the same shooters, the same sports games, the same anything. I mean, the Wii U, for example, Mario games, Luigi games, Captain Toad's fucking adventure. It's a whole bunch of just Mario games. Like, I'm not against Mario mostly. I prefer Sonic, but still. But I would like to see something different, even if it's just a sequel. But it's also the reboots being like, is this really necessary? This is predominantly more towards reboots than like collections in general. But like reboots, like rebooting Tomb Raider, like okay, yeah, they weren't bad games, but like the original five were the best Tomb Raiders ever, and you're not going to get around that. Stuff like the Resident Evil remakes, like okay, the first one was necessary. Do we really need another one, and another one, another one, or however many it's out, like three, four, something like that. Okay, yeah, it'd be fine. It wouldn't be too bad, but the originals do fine. Again, it's probably a personal thing from that sense, but I do think that everybody should be sort of concerned about the lack of creativity, the lack of different games, the sort of sticking to the status quo, not wanting to rock the boat too much, kind of thing. So leave your opinions down in the comments below. This is kind of like a general ambling through my general complaint with people re-releasing stuff. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. There'll be more videos on the way. I'm going to be getting into season 2 of Retro RITF because I might as well just call it second season because I haven't done it for so long. I have got a White Men Can't Jump review is going to be up hopefully next week. I've had some technical difficulties. I'm going to be away in Coventry for a couple of weeks, so we'll see what we can do. Until next time, guys. Peace out.